Hi again, fellow lights and light travelers to Light Journeys Tarot. I appreciate your time and your energy being here. As always, this goes forward as educational entertainment purposes only. Take what resonates, leave the rest. This week's reading feels like an invitation to put yourself first and lean into a little self-care, a little calm in these moments, a little breathing. So I send this with light, with the highest vibrations, and I wish you all well, and I hope you all have a wonderful week, and I look forward to seeing you all again next week. Please do like and share if you enjoyed this reading, and thanks again. Bye. Hi again, fellow lights and lights travelers. Welcome again to Light Journeys Tarot. I appreciate you being here with me once more. This week, we're going to see what energy pulls through, what messages are coming through from the collective. I do ask my guides to come in and help me pull through. As always, I like to say that this is for educational and entertainment purposes only. Always take what resonates, leave the rest. And do know that I always pull with the highest good for myself and everyone that I pull through. So it's always for the highest good, for the highest intention. And let's get into this reading and see what the energies want to tell us at this moment. All right, let's see. Okay. Eight of Wands. Justice. And the Reader. Interesting. So the Eight of Wands is forward movement, kind of quick action, moving forwards, progressing towards something. Excuse me, let's get this fixed. Let's see what I'm feeling. So the first thing I'm drawn to, I was first drawn to like kind of what looks like the ivy, but then my eyes went to this. So it's like one of two things. It kind of looks like it could be plateaus, clouds, but it feels like stepping stones is what's coming into my head. It kind of reminds me of like, for those of you who, like old enough or young enough, right? This game's been around for a while, but the video game like Mario Brothers, right? Like you kind of like jump to like get to higher levels. And this feels like there is something here, platforms on which to steadily progress. So I feel like big steps, big leaps are being taken, big momentous events, happenings that are creating these quick, fast forward movement and an ascendant matter and into an ascendant way. And what's also interesting is although this looks like a desert, you see there is life, right? There's life blooming within it. So while things may have looked bleak, there are signs of hope peeking through. And this also feels like new foundations being created, being built. There's hope for the future. There's hope for this future. And this is coming in very quickly. And there's big momentous boom, boom, leaps that we're going to, right? This is like a big leap. This feels like the video game, right? You're like ascending to the finish line quickly, right? We're approaching that so fast, so quickly. And now that I think about it, these ivies feel like life, right? There is new growth. There is growth happening, and it's coming in quickly. It might not feel like it at times, but this is telling you like, yes, we are definitely moving towards that energy. We are moving towards this new future, and leaps and bounds. Leaps and bounds is where this is coming in. And there is hope. There is hope to be had. All right. So this is about justice, right? Truth, balance, these things coming in, right? We have the balance scales, and the scales here, what I'm immediately drawn to are them being on the sword. So this feels like ideas of truth coming through, being balanced. I'm drawn to two things. One, that the sword is kind of lit in blue, so I feel like the voice of truth will be balanced and will come to light. It is that which has been suppressed is being brought forward and will be heard. And the fact that there's kind of like a whitish gold to it feels like this is divinely protected truth. This is divinely protected balance that is coming through. The sword of truth and justice. Let's see. I'm actually drawn, interestingly enough, to, like, I see her earring. So that could be two things, right? You think of a cross, so I think of Christ consciousness, and it also looks like a star. So there's this return of Christ consciousness. Now, I know that everybody that is here will not necessarily, can all be of different faiths or non-faith. When I say Christ consciousness, I speak to the belief of being kind to one another, of being more like love, you know, embodying love, being love, acting like love. So that feels like it's coming forward in this. There is a lot of gold that I'm drawn to in this picture, right? These robes. Again, feels like that divine energy coming through. Again, with this blossoming, this hope, this new growth that is being watered by this truth. And this feels like, you know, it's standing firm. So this justice is definitely something that is going to take place. And it could be within these leaps and bounds that we're moving towards this hopeful thing. And it kind of feels like it matches with these two plants. And actually, now that I think about it, the plants are in each of these pictures. So they'll see there's a cohesive theme throughout all of these. These look like vines. Those are vines. This kind of looks vine-like. So there's definitely something pulling through in all the pictures. So yes, we're making fast forward leaps and bounds into this new future. Justice is coming and strong and steady. So there is this reality of trust that this is coming in and it will be balanced. Trust that this is divinely protected and it is being ushered in and it will be balanced and it will be spoken and it is being divinely protected. All right. Boom. So for this card, this is a special one for this particular deck. I'm going to go ahead and read. So upright, it says positivity, ascendancy, sovereignty, willingness to learn, and introspection. And then it says that the reader card represents the person engaging with the cards, connecting with your intuition and seeking answers and guidance. So it says that they are gazing to their right, symbolizing their desire to find the right answer to their questions. In their left hand, they hold a spread of cards. So while their focus is on a single card in their right hand, emphasizing the importance of viewing the cards both collectively and individually. This symbolizes control over life choices. Nice. So let's see. What do I get from here? So the first thing that's coming through to me is this feels like collective energy, which is what was just mentioned. But the fact that this reader is looking at that individual card feels like you are being invited to connect to the answers within. I think during these times, there's a lot of noise, there's a lot of news, there's a lot of happenings, both overwhelming, bad, good, all of the above, right? You may have been drawn to readers such as myself and others in a search for that thread that I think instinctively we all know runs through all of us. I feel it is my job, and it even is reflecting that here in these cards, to constantly turn you back towards you. Turn you back inwards. To remind you, to help you see that you have the answers that you seek. To know that we are all collectively one. We are all collectively one. And by doing the inner work, each of us individually, it helps the whole. By seeking into yourself and trusting self-guidance, you will be led on the right path. And I want to caveat, oftentimes people, all of us have ego, right? All of us have that voice inside of us. I need to do more. I want to be the best. You can do it. You can't do it. When you are remembering how to listen, it is important to know that anything negative is coming from an ego perspective, shadow self, and the messages that are pure frequency, the messages that are pure source, God, Allah, whatever you want to call it, are going to be full of love, of calm, of it's going to be okay, and all is okay, and all is well. So in practicing introspection, work on self. None of us are perfect, and all of us have things we need to grow and learn from. But lean into, or you're invited rather to lean into, the positive, loving, grace-filled messages that come through. An example would be, yes, you have growth you need to do, but I believe that I will be better. I know that I can do this work, and I know everything's going to be okay. Not anything negative like, oh, you're dumb, you can't, blah, 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 blah. Don't feed into that narrative. That there is always hope. There's always hope blossoming. There's always hope. There's always something fruitful being born. There's this connection, this growth, this love, this interconnectedness, this interweaving. This could have been what this is, this interweaving of all of our energies. And it's being watched over by the higher dimensions with love and light to help us grow, to help us blossom, to help us, seed and reach forward and be grounded and reach up. So, and I feel like this keeps coming through a lot in my readings, but maybe the universe is just like, yeah, get this message. So, very quick energies are coming in. Big leaps and bounds are happening, okay? Justice is going to be standing strong and will be balanced. While these big events are taking place in these leaps and bounds, right? This could be both external and internal, right? As within, as without, as above, so below, right? There's this mirroring effect because we are the universe and the universe is us, right? We are everything. We are all connected. So as these big growths are happening externally outside of us, they are also happening within us. So justice will be brought in. This could be both, it will be balanced, but also to balance ourselves as we take these big leaps, and do so by You don't have to take on the whole world by focusing on yourself and by doing the self-work and the self-love and finding the peace, finding the moments of pause, 5 minutes, 10 minutes. Listen to some relaxing music. Light some candles safely. Only if you're an adult and you know how to do so safely. Please don't burn down any houses, people. If you can, go get a massage. Read a book. Listen to something, frequencies, relaxing music, meditate, pray, go on a walk, right? Not everything needs to be big and boisterous. Lay in the grass, hug a tree. Don't judge it. Well, make sure there's no poison ivy, but don't judge it until you try it, right? A lot of these grounding things, come back to self, away from the noise, focus on yourself, call that in while all these energies are going on. And know that we're connected and we're growing and things are going to be okay. And if you want to know what to do, what effort you need to make, it's that self effort, which is going to help collectively, because you standing in that kind of helps raise the frequencies, right? So if we're all connected and all energies are one, right? You talk about all this being made of atoms, right? So like, even though this feels solid, my crystals here, it's all connected because it is atoms within this space, and I am made of atoms within this space and this card and these decks. So it's all weaving together. So that's all of us, right? So if you're doing that individual work, it's a resonant energy that goes out. And yes, you are making impact on yourself because you will feel more grounded, healthier, calmer, more peaceful. As a result, you will be affecting those around you, and they will then start to get back into coherence, get out of that disharmony, start balancing themselves. Okay, this may take time, but you standing in that peaceful energy spreads that peaceful energy. So work on self and it will come into balance. It will bring in these energies very quickly and into balance. So yes, beautiful. Now I'm going to pull some oracle cards and see what else needs to come through. This is a new deck I got today called Healing Spirits Oracle. So I felt very drawn to pull from this today. So we're going to pull from here and see what messages come through. Okay, as I shuffled, this popped out. It isn't about being right. It's about doing the right thing. All right, beautiful. Let's see what that has to say. Okay, so this says, sometimes it's better to stay silent than to let others see that you have all the answers. There are times when you need to pause for consideration rather than act for the sake of it because it is expected of you. The truly wise spirit masters know when to speak and when to listen, when to act and when not to act. They are our greatest examples of how to behave in moments of uncertainty. So I wonder if the Christ consciousness was coming through and embodying love, and the whole pausing and reflecting was coming through, because this is one of those moments of, as justice comes in, perhaps we are being invited to hold space, embody kindness to others who may not have thought through their decisions that wisely. Yeah, I'm not going to say this is easy, because yes, this is not an easy act. So back again, they are our greatest examples of how to behave in moments of uncertainty. Remember that wisdom comes from experience, not brashness. And being spiritual sometimes just means being. When dealing with people who are awkward, simply remembering to be kind, as kindness is above right or wrong. Okay, beautiful. So I'm going to pull one more and see what else Spirit wants to pull through, and then we'll close out the reading. This oracle that I haven't used in a hot minute kept catching my attention. So I feel like this is the one that needs to go with this reading. So let's see what final messages pull through. Okay, feels like this one. Shielding, protecting, and grounding. All right, let's see what this one has to say. All right, so this says, essential themes: protecting ourselves from heavy emotional forces, learning how to find our centers of sanity and stability during challenging times, and activating self-care on various levels. Thank you, Spirit, first and foremost, for this confirmation. I feel like this was speaking back into that energy. Remember, I said things are coming in really quickly, but also doing that self-work, allowing that pause within these moments. Like this card said, we're asking to be graceful and kind. But this is about shielding, protecting, and grounding. So as this is kind of happening really intensely, ground yourself, center yourself. So this feels like a lot like this reading feels like it's leaning more into the advice of self-care. And self-love in these moments. Let's see. So it says, this card's image symbolizes the protection of our inner fire, signifying that we have the ability to separate ourselves from the outer world when necessary. In almost a cage-like fashion, the person in the card is consciously choosing to protect their own energy. Deeper meanings. Sweet, empathetic soul. It's time to bring up those shields and get back to center. It's ridiculously easy to get wrapped up in the day-to-day grind to the point that we forget about energetic self-care. As empaths, it's imperative that we remember to shield and protect ourselves regularly. Right? So that was kind of pulling in that our energy is all connected, and that was that big rant that I went on earlier, not knowing that this card was going to pull, right? In the fact that our energy is connected, and in your raising your energy and your being peaceful, that's not to say that those others will also be in that same frequency. There sometimes will be disharmony within their energy fields. So I like that this is an invitation to ground, to protect. It's as simple as using a visualization of just protecting yourself in a bubble. Whatever it is that you would like to do, a triangle of white light, of pure light, of divine light, of gold light. And you can even do blue light to protect yourselves from others' toxic energy. And you can always call in your guardian angels, your spirit guides, whatever you want. Ask them to come in, your passed over loved ones, to help just protect you from any negative energy, any negative influences, and that energy will come in and protect you. So this is inviting you to do this if you so choose. Daily visualizations to ground and protect ourselves can make empathetic life miles easier to navigate. This card indicates that you are not doing enough empathetic self-care on an energetic level. All of reality is energy, and there is nothing separated from the vibrational reality of life. Okay, well, see, thank you, Source, for literally rehashing, repeating, emphasizing what it was that I was saying. Thank you for the validation, Spirit. Even the most solid object is in actuality impermanent. So that's funny to me. See, I love that Spirit's like nose on the head. Here you go, nail on the nose. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not saying this rightly. I'm just hitting the hammer to the nail, hitting, your nose. Essentially, we're saying like we're being right on point with what I was saying. So thank you for the confirmation, Spirit. Although it is easy for empaths to become lazy with energetic upkeep, it can go a long way in helping us maintain balance as we go about daily life. Because everyone is different, this energetic upkeep can take the variety of forms as and is different for each and every person. I myself recently, got some obsidian bracelets. I also got some hematite. This darker stone is good for protection. I like to do it while I'm reading to kind of help ground me and protect. You can work with crystals, like I said, you can just visualize All these things, prayer, whatever it is that you feel called to do, will work for you. Empaths must practice energetic shielding and protection exercises because we do not only absorb energies from others throughout daily life, but also through the media, from environments, from social media, and even from our dreams. Throughout waking and sleeping life, there are numerous opportunities for external emotional energies to become attached to our person, and it is for that reason we must practice regular shielding, protection, and grounding however we see fit. I'm going to add very quickly here in social media, you may be being fed an algorithm and, things are happy, and then you get something stressful and then it kind of sets you off. You get stressed, you feel your nerves tighten. Learn to center, learn to breathe. Occasionally, it's okay to walk away from that information. It's okay to shut it off. It's okay to go back outside. It's okay to relax. It's okay to read a book. Within these times, make sure that you're taking care of your energy. It's highly, highly, highly important. Both grounding and protective shielding help bring us back to our core or our center, and with regular practice, we can become more adept at navigating the world as highly sensitive individuals. And, the perfect example is many of us, go to stores and we don't realize, and there's this frenetic energy of people going, I need to buy this, I need to get this, I need to get in and out because I need to get home because I need to start dinner. I don't want to deal with traffic. I just got off of work. And you don't realize that as you're walking past people, right? Like, I'm made of atoms. They're made of atoms. As we are walking past each other, those frequencies are pushing past us. So, you might get really drained when you get out of these places. And that's you picking up that energy. Learn to release it, learn to ground yourself from it, learn to protect yourself from it, until we all get to a point, and maybe even after we get to a point where we're all kind of more energetically resonant and there's more higher vibration and loving energy in the world. But for now, definitely ground yourself, protect yourself, find those moments of silence, focus on yourself, your emotional health, your peace of mind within this world. It says suggestions for action. One of the most common forms of grounding is to enter a state of meditation. Take deep breaths, relax, imagine a cord or a root going deep into the earth. You can visualize this cord absorbing nutrients from planet Earth, getting into the mycelium network, right? Those mushrooms connecting to the natural plant life, and then pulling up that energy into yourself, right? Finish by visualizing this cord or root coming back up into your body and surrounding your energy field, okay? This energetic shielding works similarly through meditative visualization. You can use a protective crystal, rings of fire. So visualization and imagination go hand in hand. So this is inviting you to do so. Get crystals. There's some wonderful crystal vendors here. I would recommend M's Gems here. I would recommend Aquamoon. They both have beautiful things that they sell, beautiful pieces, whatever you feel drawn to. You can always talk to Reiki practitioners. Sometimes they can guide you to specific crystals that help you if you're drawn to this. If this is not your thing, meditating, praying, reading a book, listening to calm music, just taking some deep breaths. That doesn't even have to be anything, neither here nor there. This is not religious. This is not spiritual. Breathing. Right? It's amazing how just taking a slow, deep breath, holding it for like a 5 count, and then releasing it for a 5 count, right? How it suddenly relaxes you, right? You're working on that connection back to, it's okay. Let's get out of that fight or flight. Let's center back. So this was a beautiful message that energies are coming in swiftly. Big leaps and bounds are happening that are bringing in justice. You are being invited first to look into oneself, to do the work, to allow yourself energetic grounding and protection, and doing that energetic self-care. And then as the rest of this takes place, to have a little grace and a little kindness, to perhaps those that this justice will be affecting. So this could be people that were aligned with certain thought processes, and perhaps some of those individuals, I'm not going to say all, but maybe some individuals who originally supported may have a bit of an awakening and a bit of a shock to their systems. We are asking to, if you feel called, to let the universe do what it does. The right people will be called into roles of justice, hopefully the correct. We have to have faith that the correct people will be voted in to positions to help usher in this balanced justice, and that the wrongs will be righted, and this new hopeful foundation will be built and flourish. So in the meantime, center, give yourself grace, protect your energy, breathe, and maybe disconnect. After you're done with this, go ahead and take a break. So I thank you all for being here. Please look after yourselves, sending you lots of light. Take what resonates, leave the rest, and I look forward to seeing you all next week. Bye.